Dive teams will be back in a Columbia County lake this morning searching for a missing teenager. We are live with the latest.
And northern Wisconsin's dealing with some major flooding this morning after some heavy rain there over the weekend.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to News 3 This Morning. It is a very hot and sweltering and muggy Monday, June 18th.
Sticky, soupy. Chris has used all sorts of words. Texas-like.
You all have taken all the words that I wanted to use. It's okay. We'll use Monday for the forecast this time.
There you
the
go.
Sunrise out there is just, it's mixed with sun and clouds. It's just kind of a Monday feel out there. It's a hazy look as well. That is because there's more moisture in the atmosphere as we await the rain chance that will cool us off. Everyone say yay.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. I got one of you to do it.
I was there with you. I'm right there.
Oh, honey, it's a Monday.
So we're tracking those showers and storms to our north right now. Some of that just moved through the Wisconsin Dells. A lot of that moving into northern Columbia County as of now. And as we zoom out, you'll see that there's a lot more rain where that came from. We're going to be watching this essentially die off and reform throughout the day, especially as it works its way to the south and east. Temperatures right now are in the 70s and 80s. We are at 80 here in Madison. So we have dropped a degree, so that is somewhat good news. Don't let it fool you. We are going to toast right back up into the afternoon and evening. Heat indices will be going all the way up to the low and mid 90s between lunchtime and the early commute time to head home. So do know that that will be a thing. And then towards dinner time, showers and thunderstorms coming back into the picture, especially after 4 and towards 8 o'clock. So be prepared for that. Now, if you're going out this morning, traffic, the last time I looked, and it's still there, it's very smooth. A little bit of a slowdown towards Stoughton Road at the Beltline. The one slowdown that was closer to Stoughton earlier this morning, even that is gone at this point. So far, everyone is moving at their posted speed. So
we were saying the DOT is encouraging people to look out for roads buckling because of the heat.
Yeah, when it's this hot, it happens. Luckily, I've not ran into any of that, but I've been on the look.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
We start the news this hour in Portage, where authorities will continue, weather permitting, a search of Silver Lake this morning after a teenage boy went underwater during a family swimming outing.
So that search was stopped last night because of storms in the area. It was set to restart this morning. Josh Spreiter's live at Silver Lake with the latest on the search, but we just saw in his last half hour, it's still raining out there, Josh?
Yeah, guys, as you can tell, it's storming here in the town of Portage, and I actually just spoke with police a little bit ago. There's no update, unfortunately, that they can pass along, and this actually happened around 6 o'clock last night. Portage police say an officer was driving by Silver Lake at the time that the call came out here at Silver Lake Beach. The missing teen is a 13-year-old from the area, we're told. Police say he was swimming with his family when the inner tube he was using got away from him. He went underwater and hasn't been seen since.
After the call came in, officers responded, saw numerous people in the water trying to help or look for the juvenile.
Dive teams from the Columbia County and Sauk County Sheriff's Departments were called in to help look for him, but that search had to be suspended last night when lightning came through the area. The dive teams are expected to be back out here later this morning. In the meantime, authorities are asking people to stay away from the area. You can see Silver Lake Road remains closed as of right now, and obviously these storms this morning might have a little bit more of an impact on when those dive teams can get out there. But of course, we're going to be out here all morning long and bring you the very latest as soon as it becomes available. Adam and Danica.
All right, Josh, we'll check in with him in the next half hour or so. Josh Spreiter reporting live from Portage. Thank you, Josh.
6:04 almost right now. There are a number of roads and highways closed this morning in northern Wisconsin after heavy rain washed them out over the weekend. So that storm caused flash floods and road closings from Solon Springs to Drummond and Mason. This is about 45 minutes north of Hayward. The Bayfield County Sheriff's Office says Highway 2 up there was washed out near Ashland. Some areas reported more than 13 inches of rain over the weekend. 13 inches.
Wow. One
business owner in Ashland says it seems like deja vu.
This is the second major flood we've had since October. And I know him and I don't want to go through this anymore. We lost 15,000 in inventory last October when this happened.
Brown, mucky water out there. The Bayfield County Sheriff says they're still trying to figure out exactly which roads are flooded this morning. They're going to be setting up detours, hopefully, for drivers later today.
New overnight, Madison police say a man was able to fight off a robbery attempt while he was pulling over on the side of the road to help out. This happened on the city's west side at Schrader Road and Chapel Hill Drive. Police say around 3 a.m. the victim stopped to help a group of people pulled off to the side of the road with the hazards on. When he started hooking up jumper cables, one of the men pulled a gun on him. The man who was helping punched that person in the face. The suspect dropped the gun, got in the car, and drove off with his passengers. Officers are still looking for the Toyota and the people involved. There are a number of opportunities for people who live in Sauk County this fall to learn how to react to an active shooter situation. Sauk County emergency management staffers are holding several safety training sessions in September. The workshops will be held on Saturdays from 9 to 11 in the morning in Plain, Baraboo, and Reedsburg. We have specifics over on our website, channel3000.com.
We have a first alert traffic project to let you know about on the west side of Madison this morning. Crews are going to be closing down part of Gammon Road and Park Street from Elmwood Avenue to Stonefield Road for the next couple of months. It's a pretty common drive for people who are going from Madison to Middleton. They're not going to be letting any cars through, though. Drivers can take University Avenue to Elmwood Avenue as a detour until that route reopens on August 24th.
Speaking of road work, Madison engineers say one of the city's biggest construction projects is still on track. Work on Monroe Street is slated to finish in mid-November, though, so we still have a little while yet. Some businesses along that road are struggling to keep sales up and foot traffic consistent, but some of the store owners say the progress is promising, and they look forward to what it's going to look like when it's finished.
Monroe Street's going to be much improved, not just what you'll be able to see in terms of new surface on the street and new pedestrian safe crossings, but also the infrastructure underneath is all being revised.
So this is kind of cool. The latest promotion to get people to actually come out to Monroe Street during all of this is a bingo game. You can check off the businesses you patronize and get some prizes for completing the card. That runs through September 15th.
State Patrol is warning drunk drivers and underage drinkers that it will have a number of troopers in the area of a country music festival starting tomorrow here in Wisconsin. The Country USA Festival runs through the weekend in Oshkosh. Troopers and local police officers will be on every road in and out of the festival and say they will be writing tickets, not warnings for violations.
All right, 6:07 right now. Today is the first day for Madison's free summer lunch program. The goal is to make sure no child goes hungry over the summer when they're not in school. We'll share the details in a couple minutes.
And it's already hot and muggy out this morning, 80 degrees out right now. There's a chance for some rain, storms throughout the day as well. Chris is in for Hattie this morning. He'll share your first alert forecast next on News 3 This Morning.
Call
A peaceful morning here in south central Wisconsin, but it is also humid as you step outside this morning. Dew points well into the 70s. We are tracking showers and thunderstorms of relief. Those will be making their way into town, especially as we get you into the afternoon and evening. So just hold on tight for one more day through the heat and humidity. We did have one strong thunderstorm move through the Wisconsin Dells right now. This is now across northern Columbia County, so that's one thing to keep an eye on. But for the most part, these showers and thunderstorms remain to our north this morning, working their way south as we go to the afternoon and evening. That's when we will see the chance of strong and severe thunderstorms. It's not likely to be an outbreak, but there is the marginal risk for some damaging wind gusts to come in with those showers and thunderstorms later on this evening. A lot of the water that we had this weekend, especially here in Madison with the flash flooding, will make those trees easier to top over, so do keep that in mind. Temperatures in the 70s and 80s so far this morning here in Madison. We're sitting at 80. Same goes for Lone Rock and Boscobel this morning. We have actually dropped a degree over the past hour back down to 80, but the dew point has stayed the same at 71, so it is still soupy. Even though the temperatures dropped now, they're going to toast back up into the afternoon and evening. Those heat advisories from the weekend have expired. Now mainly to our south. We are right on the edge of the extreme heat, and that will keep things steamy for us into this afternoon. Temperatures will make it into the mid and upper 80s, and then eventually begin to cool things off just a little bit. You factor in the humidity, it's going to feel like the low and mid 90s into the peak heating of the afternoon, but watch how things drop from north to south overnight. This is that cold front that will be racing on through here that is also going to mean more shower and thunderstorm chances. Towards about 3 o'clock, look to the north on radar. You'll see more showers and thunderstorms firing up. Towards dinner time, that's when the heaviest of this rain will likely move through Madison and points to the south. We'll clear out the rain after that, but will likely remain fairly cloudy with temperatures in the 60s towards Tuesday morning. 78 to 84 going to be your temperatures this morning. Will remain mostly cloudy. Will get hot later on this afternoon. 86 going to be your high temperature, but once the showers and thunderstorms cool us off, we only stay in the 70s on Tuesday. Same goes for Wednesday with more sunshine coming into the picture. We'll stay in the 70s through the start of the weekend towards Sunday and next week. 80s along with rain chances returning into the picture, but even still does not look as hot as we were this past weekend. It's finally feeling a bit more like Wisconsin should for this time of the year. Now let's go to Josh Tim with your traffic.
Yeah, starting off this Monday morning commute, looking pretty good on the Beltline. Just the usual crowd beginning to show up heading westbound. That will start to cause some delays over the next hour or so. Checking out Dane County, there are a few brake lights on the northbound side of Verona Road approaching the Beltline, along with on Stoughton Road near the Beltline ramps. No problems at all downtown around the Capitol and UW campus. Volume not an issue at this point. And other main routes, including on the interstate, they're cruising along at usual speeds right now with no crashes or delays. Your First Alert Traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Chris. Well, starting today, Madison students on summer break can access free meals at a number of parks and schools across the city.
The Madison School District is partnering with the REAP Food Group over the summer to hand out those free meals, offer some educational activities at those locations as well. The free food program starts today, hoping to feed the thousands of families that do rely every day on free and reduced lunch throughout the school year. That program is available at Elver, Southdale, and Leopold Parks, plus at Centro Hispano and several other locations all summer long. You can go to mmsd.org/food for more information, or simply text the word food to 877-877 if you want to find a location near you.
Today is also the start of Madison School and Community Recreation summer camps. You're looking at video here from one of MSCR's Police Club programs offered last year. This year, there are lots of activities keeping kids busy throughout the summer. This goes from arts and crafts to sports, other outdoor activities. More than 7,600 children take part in 19 different summer camps every season. There are about 800 camp counselors who just finished their week of training on Friday.
It is the last week for Madison residents to compost their food scraps. The city announced last week it was ending the program after 7 years because people were putting too many non-compostable items in their carts, and the city couldn't afford a biodigester to clean up the mess. Compost from Madison has been processed in Middleton since the pilot program started in 2011. Madison planned to open its own biodigester by 2016, but because of a $30 to $35 million price tag, that never happened. After the final collection this week, the Streets Division will circle back to collect participants' black refuse carts.
This might be my favorite story of the morning right here. A Janesville couple is thanking the Rock County dispatcher who offered life-saving advice over the phone. Amanda Johnson has been a dispatcher for about a decade, but this is the first time she's being credited with keeping someone alive. Jen Carhart called 911 when her husband Brian wasn't breathing. Amanda was able to talk her through CPR until paramedics arrived.
He was my guardian angel that night to help me save my husband's life. This was definitely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get that ending and to see that he's doing so amazingly well.
So the couple got to meet Amanda and thank her in person. As you can see, some hugs exchanged there. Amanda says that made this situation extra special because she doesn't normally get to follow up with the people she helps over the phone. By the way, you may remember a new state law does require that all emergency dispatchers are trained to do exactly what Amanda did, talk someone through CPR until first responders can get on the scene.
That is the best story of the morning.
That is
I
excellent.
think you're absolutely right. 6:16 right now. There's a heads up this morning from Wisconsin's consumer protection folks, especially if you're using your phone on any summer vacation you might be planning. We'll share their advice here in a couple of minutes.
We could see some serious storms this morning and this afternoon. Chris is watching that radar pretty closely, and he's going to share an update next on News 3 this morning.
At
And it continues to be soupy and humid this morning with a mix of sun and clouds. I've been tracking the sunrise all morning long, and the clouds a sign of what is to come. Relief. from the heat and the humidity as we get you into the afternoon. Temperatures right now at 80 degrees already. Dew points are in the lower 70s. So as you step outside, do be prepared to think you're sweating just a little bit. We are tracking showers and thunderstorms to the north right now. Some of those just moved through the Wisconsin Dells. You also have heavy rain in northern Columbia County as of now. Same for Sauk County. And this will all work its way to the south as we go through the afternoon and evening. Your day planner looks like this. Temperatures rising from the 70s and back into the mid 80s by lunchtime. Showers and thunderstorms arriving just in time for that evening commute.
Thank you very much, Chris. It is 6:20 right now. There are a lot of people who are planning summer trips for vacations, weddings, whatever you may have you. Consumer experts, though, are warning about the increasing number of scams out there as well.
The state's Department of Agriculture, Trade and Consumer Protection says the moment you relax is probably the moment identity thieves will try to steal your information. And one of the most common ways to do that is setting up fake Wi-Fi networks. You should always check to make sure hotspots you're using are secure. Consumer experts also recommend reviewing the privacy policies on apps on your phone or tablet and deleting ones you no longer use.
You have choices within your device for each and every app, and you want to affirmatively decide what you're willing to share about that app. It might alter how well it works. You know, if it's a map app, then you need location services for it to work. But do you need those on all the time?
So DACAP officials are recommending you turn off those location services on your phone and tablets when you're not using that feature.
Wisconsin, as we deal with one more day of heat and humidity, and public health officials want to remind people, even if it is a little bit cooler today than it was yesterday, there are still some things we need to pay attention to.
If you start to exhibit signs of dehydration like dry mouth, increased heart rate, profuse sweating, nausea, vomiting, you might be entering the state of heat exhaustion.
Doctors say that heat exhaustion is once your body temperature gets past 104 degrees, you have to cool your body down, doing things like drinking water, staying in the shade, and if you can, simply staying indoors and air conditioning are all important on days like today.
Probably not a great day to go out biking or jogging, but those of you who do on Madison's south side, you may have to find a different route for the rest of the month. The bike path on West Wingra Drive near Fish Hatchery Road and South Park Street will be closed until the end of June while crews replace the pedestrian bridge over Wingra Creek. This is right by Wright Middle School. Car traffic shouldn't be affected by this project.
The county committee overseeing the redevelopment of the Alliant Energy Center campus is meeting again tonight. A Chicago-based firm is working to redesign that 164-acre area, build a hotel and restaurant there, in addition to hiking and biking paths. Meanwhile, work continues on the existing buildings there as crews finish up a $1 million project to update the lights at the Memorial Coliseum. The Madison Common Council is considering a proposal to ban smoking around all of the buildings owned by the city of Madison. Right now, city law requires municipal buildings to have at least one smoke-free entrance and allows one entrance to be a designated smoking area. This new proposal would prohibit smoking within 25 feet of all entrances and windows. Alders will talk about the possible ban at their meeting tomorrow night.
A neighborhood just off downtown Madison could be getting a bit of a facelift to make it more pedestrian friendly. The City Plan Commission tonight will look at upgrading the 6-block area centered on the 400 and 500 blocks of West Mifflin Street and West Washington Avenue. That's in the area right between Capitol Center Market and the UW Art Lofts Gallery. Those updates could include redeveloping some of the properties in that neighborhood and reworking the streets to make it easier for people to live and shop there. The overall goal is to make the West Washington neighborhood an easier and more welcoming gateway to the downtown area.
6:24 right now. There is some significant flooding here in Wisconsin to let you know about this morning. Leah Lynchide is sharing an update here in a couple of minutes.
And we will hear from a Wisconsin congressman visiting the border to get a look at how immigrant families and their children are being treated. The news is back in the morning on News 3 this morning.
Dive teams are hoping to go back into a Columbia County lake this morning, searching for a missing teenager. We're live with an update here shortly.
And crews will be back in northern Wisconsin.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome back to the final half hour of News 3 This Morning. Almost 6:28 now on this Monday, June 16th. A lot of weather-related things to let you know about. Leah's going to have an update on all of that flooding coming up here in a few minutes.
Here locally, we're dealing with just sticky, kind of steamy conditions. It's 80 degrees right now. It feels really sticky outside. That's where Chris Reese is this morning. He is in for Hattie this morning. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Adam and Danica. It is very sticky outside, but already we are tracking more showers and thunderstorms across northern Wisconsin that will be working their way southward as we go through the day. That's where the clouds are coming from that we see outside right now, and they will continue to essentially be here at times and thin out at times. It'll be a mix of sun and clouds this morning. Here's a live look downtown. You see the cloud cover, though it does not look as menacing as it does on the WISC-TV cam. 80 degrees right now, dew points in the low 70s. So that's the reason that it's going to feel so sticky outside as you step out. 80s as you work your way back to the west as well. If you're not in the 80s, you are in the upper 70s. A few spots are showing up in the lower 70s this morning. Here are those showers and thunderstorms that we were talking about, and they have really put down some water across northern Wisconsin earlier this weekend and last night. That's the reason that we have to keep a close eye on those as they move southward. Some of these could put down some really torrential downpours, especially with the atmosphere that we have right now, just so primed and full of moisture. We also do have the risk for some severe thunderstorms. There's a marginal risk for that overnight tonight, the main threat with those being damaging winds. As you plan your day, expect the rain to really begin to increase towards that evening commute and during, the dinner rush hour time. So speaking of rush hour, so far traffic is moving smoothly right now. No major delays showing up on the belt lines. Downtown looking good as well, so that's certainly good news. Traveling just about from anywhere. It should take you your normal time this morning.
All right. Thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate it. We are waiting to hear when the search for a missing 13-year-old will resume in Portage. That teen went underwater while swimming with his family in Silver Lake.
So the search started around dinner time last night, had to be stopped because of the weather. The weather's continuing to cause problems there this morning. Josh Spreiter is live at Silver Lake this morning for us with the latest. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. We spoke to police just a little bit ago, and unfortunately, they have no update for us this morning. As you mentioned, that search had to be put on hold last night because of those thunderstorms that we were dealing with. Well, this morning, more storms are probably going to be hampering that effort. Last night, dive teams from Columbia and Sauk County joined a number of volunteers in looking for the teen. Police say he was in an inner tube while swimming with his family, but fell underwater and never resurfaced.
The 13-year-old was reported to be swimming with family. Possibly using a float device that got away from him. Child tried to get back to the float and was unable to, and went under.
Weather permitting, authorities will pick up that search again this morning, but are asking people to stay away from Silver Lake until the search is over. We have seen police patrolling the area, and Silver Lake Drive does remain closed here this morning. Again, if you know anything about this, you're asked to call the local authorities. Of course, we'll keep you updated this morning on anything that we learn.
Those updates both here on News 3 as well as on channel3000.com. All right, Josh Spreiter reporting live this morning in Portage. Thank you.
6:31 right now, and police in Vernon County will continue a homicide investigation today after recovering a missing woman's body over the weekend. Someone fishing in Runge Hollow Lake near Westby found Aaron Bushek's body over the weekend. Aaron was reported missing on June 4th. We hope to get an update from La Crosse County authorities later on today. We will share that information on channel3000.com.
Expected to be in court later today to enter a plea on charges he attacked a police officer. One of those charges that 22-year-old Connor Koval faces is a felony. He's also facing misdemeanors for resisting arrest and disorderly conduct. Prosecutors say Koval hit an officer after a bar fight in December, said he hoped the arresting officers would be shot. Koval's lawyer says he was drunk at the time, that he's embarrassed about what happened. 6:32 right now at the White House today. The president's going to be meeting with two Senate Republican leaders in charge of immigration funding and whether he's going to get any money to pay for that security wall that he wants on the U.S.-Mexico border.
Meanwhile, near that border, protesters continue to speak out against the separation of thousands of children from their parents or the adults they came over the border with. Texas Congressman and Democratic Senate candidate Beto O'Rourke organized a march yesterday against what the administration is calling the zero tolerance policy. Attorney General Jeff Sessions made these changes in April. Migrant families used to be released together while waiting for a judge to rule on cases, but since children cannot be held in adult jails, families can now be separated while adults are prosecuted. Border Patrol agents say they can't treat families any differently than anyone else coming into the country illegally. Immigrant advocates, though, are calling these policies inhumane. On the Sunday morning talk shows, White House advisor Kellyanne Conway argued that Congress needs to step up.
The president is ready to get meaningful immigration reform across the board. And Chuck, let me just tell you that nobody likes seeing babies ripped from their mother's arms, from their mother's wombs.
President Trump says Democrats are not working with Republicans to pass legislation on this issue. The latest statistics from the Department of Homeland Security show nearly 2,000 kids have been separated from the adults they came into the country with since this policy took effect.
Wisconsin Congressman Mark Pocan is also at the border this morning. He spent part of his weekend in Brownsville, Texas, at the shelter where some of those kids are being kept.
We just really need to do everything we can to make the president realize that his decision is a perverse one and it's un-American.
The Madison Democrat has been posting video updates about what he's seeing on his Twitter feed. 6:34 right now. Cleanup continues here in Wisconsin across the Midwest after more than a foot of rain for some areas fell over the weekend.
Yeah, that rain still has roads closed this morning and residents trying to drain out their homes and their yards. Leah Linscheid is in the news center with a look at some of the worst damage. Leah?
Good morning. Some businesses here in Madison still cleaning up after our weekend storms, but to the north, it is a whole different world. Here are some of the worst hit areas. Northern Wisconsin in Bayfield County, over in Minnesota, Carleton County, and in the UP, the Ironwood area, and even a little bit to the north in Houghton. We're looking at entire highways turned into rivers, along with flooded out yards for some folks. Let's start this morning in Bayfield County. This video right here is outside Ashland, where parts of Highway 2 are shut down still this morning. Lots of damage to property as well, with folks reporting flooded out homes and yards after this weekend. And in the UP, possibly some of the worst pictures we've seen. Take a look at this road near a gas station outside Ironwood. Doesn't even look like a road at this point. And over in Houghton County, more flooded highways. Officials there counting more than 60 sinkholes and washouts. And to our west in Minnesota, here's what drivers there are looking at this morning. This is in Carleton County, and that's a pretty common sight along other streets in that state as well. Now, lots of stuff for folks to clean up really across the Midwest this morning. Officials in all three states are asking folks, use common sense, don't drive through any flooded out areas, and put yourself in danger.
Always a good reminder this time of year. Leah Linscheid reporting from the News Center. Thanks, Leah.
6:35 right now. My oldest daughter has always been scared of thunder since she was a baby. And the fear of storms is a common phobia in children. Doctors at SSM Health say if your child's asking a lot of those what if questions and they become overly clingy when there are storms, then it may be time to have them talk to a counselor about their fears.
Sometimes it can just get in the way of them being able to function, and their stress level overall is higher because they really fear a negative outcome is going to happen with a storm.
Tonight, News 3 meteorologist Dave Caulfield introduces us to a family that's been battling what's called storm PTSD for a number of years after a tornado ripped through their neighborhood. We'll share what worked for them and some more tips on how to talk to your kids about thunderstorm anxiety on News 3 at 10.
There is something still as an adult about thunderstorms, no matter how many you live through. If it's serious enough.
It was serious on Friday night and Saturday morning.
No kidding. 6:36 right now. There is a vegetable recall to let you know about this morning. We'll have the latest in the morning sprint.
And there's a new plan to get students in the chairs at University of Wisconsin two-year campuses. We'll tell you how those students can save some money next on News 3 this morning. Welcome back. It's almost 20 minutes to 7 right now on this Monday morning. I'm back on my flower feed.
Kick.
Yes, I like flowers. I like colors. Jennifer Harris posted this on our Facebook page. Beautiful little iris right there. Thank you for sharing, Jennifer.
Yeah, that is beautiful. What does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it over on our Facebook, Twitter page, Instagram, whatever it is. Use the hashtag MyNews3Morning, please. That is how we find those and share our favorites every morning here on the program. Certain UW system schools are hoping that more kids will apply now that they don't have to pay a fee to do so. Through September 7th, all two-year UW colleges will be waiving their $50 application fee for the fall 2018 semester. UW Rock County administrators say they're hoping that will increase enrollment and excitement about some of the new partnerships between the state's 2-year and 4-year institutions. Anyone trying to be accepted into UW Rock County has until August 23rd to submit their application.
UW Platteville is ranked as one of the best colleges and universities to graduate from, as well as get and keep a job. That school did the best in the career guidance online website Zippia's survey. The site looked at employment levels of graduates a decade after earning their degrees. The top school in the country to land a job after graduation was in Pennsylvania, Lebanon Valley College. That school's job placement after 10 years is at 96%. Pretty good.
Not too shabby.
So it's an alert day weather-wise today. It's 80 degrees still right now. Not just, though, because of the heat and humidity. There's a chance of some pretty nasty storms early this morning, again this afternoon into tonight as well. Chris is in for Hattie this morning. His first alert forecast is up next.
But first, it is June 18th. We want to say happy birthday to this Hattie and Kimlin and all the other kids turning 3 out there today. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Thanks for letting us be part of the celebration here on News 3 this morning.
Look who's
Taking a live look outside right now at the WISC-TV Skycam. A little bit of sun right there, but otherwise we are looking at heat, humidity, the chance for some storms pretty much all day today. Chris Reese is in for Hattie. He will have your full forecast here in a couple of minutes or so, but it's 6:45 first. And if you're traveling this summer, there's a pretty easy way to protect your identity and credit score from scammers.
So technology can increase chances of getting scammed, but some thieves are still doing it the old-fashioned way. Consumer experts recommend not bringing unnecessary credit cards and social security cards, any other documents that could compromise your identity if lost or stolen while you're on vacation. They're also suggesting that you give that call to your bank and credit card companies to let you know when and where you are going. Fraud departments can actually monitor the accounts for unauthorized transactions. All good advice.
I think people are going to be running inside if possible again today. Let's turn it over to Chris Reese, who's in for Hattie this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. I'm planning on being inside for as long as I can. It's been hot pretty much all weekend long. Check out these highs from yesterday. La Crosse, Wisconsin made it all the way up to 98 degrees, 2 degrees away from 100. And that was not the heat index. That was the actual air temperature. Here in Madison, we made it to 91 yesterday. You go over towards Lone Rock, 94, Basketball, making it to 96 degrees. So yesterday as a whole was pretty much a sizzler out there. It'll be steamy today. Maybe not a sizzler, but steamy. Part of why it'll be a little bit cooler. We have more cloud cover working on in here, especially ahead of a rain chance that'll come in. There's a little bit of sunshine being filtered in. Temperatures this morning already at 80 degrees, 71 the dew point. So if you step outside now, you will feel the soup. 80s as you work your way back towards the west, low 70s pretty much everywhere else, upper 70s, especially as you work your way towards the Wisconsin border. 77 in Monroe right now. That's the Wisconsin-Illinois border. Here are the dew points right now. Here is what is causing that juicy feel to the atmosphere. Dew points in the low and mid 70s are pretty much a big source of humidity and moisture to the atmosphere that will help create things to feel a lot warmer into the afternoon. Feeling like 93 by 2 o'clock. Then we will cool things off. We're actually watching a cold front racing its way into town, and that will be the relief. Here you can track the cold front with the wind. We've got strong winds out of the south right now, a northerly wind coming back down from the north. Where those meet, that's where you're going to find a lot of the showers and thunderstorms right now. That is the cold front, but it's very slow moving. It's going to take a while to work its way on in, but we'll be tracking these showers. They'll die off initially and then redevelop into the afternoon. That is when they have a pretty strong chance of being putting down some damaging winds as they come on through here. It's a marginal risk for severe weather. It wouldn't be an outbreak, but we'll track that because with the heavy rain we saw over the weekend, it won't take much wind to knock some trees down. Here's that cold front. It'll sink southward. Notice how the storms die and then redevelop as they get on through here. High pressure moving in from Canada will eventually lower the dew points and take away the rain chances as we get you towards the middle of the week. Let's zoom in and take you hour by hour. Here we are at 3 o'clock. Notice how the storms died. Now they begin to redevelop. They work their way to the south. That's where we'll get the heavy rain, especially later on tonight. And some of these rainstorms could put down a lot of water in a short amount of time. Notice how Janesville, the model is showing 2 inches. Just southwest of Madison, it's showing several inches of rain, but only 4/10 of an inch in Madison. That is what we'll have to keep a very close eye on as we get you into the weekend. Those rain chances begin to die off by the time we get you into Tuesday night. Then by Wednesday, we'll see more in the way of sunshine. Temperatures will stay in the 70s. We expand that out for the next 10 days, and you'll see that temperatures will return to the 80s by the time we get you through next weekend. And as well, we'll see more rain chances coming back into the picture. Now, say hello to Buddy.
Buddy.
How you doing, Buddy? I know, that's one of my favorite names from Beaver Dam. If you're going to be walking the dog, you might need an umbrella later on.
All right, thank you so much, Chris.
No problem.
Morning Sprint's up next here on News 3 this morning.
6:52 time now for the morning sprint. Chris Reese has an alert day forecast for the heat, humidity, and a chance for storms. Leah's reporting on some serious flash flooding in parts of the state.
And Josh Spreiter is live in Portage, where dive teams are hoping to resume searching for a missing teenager. But we start near the U.S.-Mexico border. That is where protesters and Wisconsin Congressman Mark Pocan continue to speak out against the separation of thousands of children from their parents who tried to enter the country illegally. Now, since kids can't be held in adult jails, families can now be separated while the grown-ups are prosecuted. Border Patrol agents say they can't treat families differently than anybody else coming into the country illegally. Immigrant advocates, though, call those policies inhumane. The president is set to meet with Senate Republicans today to talk about funding of a security wall on the southern border and this policy of separating kids from their parents.
Right now, we're expecting dive teams to resume searching today in Portage after a teenager went missing on Silver Lake last night. The search had to be put on hold when thunderstorms rolled through the area. Dive teams joined a number of volunteers in looking for the teen. Police say he was in an inner tube when swimming with his family Sunday night around 6, but fell underwater and never resurfaced. Weather permitting, we're told crews will resume searching later this morning. Police are asking people to stay away from Silver Lake until that search is over. You can look for updates on News 3 and channel3000.com.
Josh, thank you. Police in Vernon County will continue a homicide investigation after recovering a missing woman's body over the weekend. Someone fishing in Runge Hollow Lake near Westby found Erin Bushwick's body. Erin was reported missing on June 4th. We do hope to get an update from La Crosse authorities later on today, and we'll be sure to share that information on channel3000.com.
Here in Madison, to our north and really across the Midwest, folks are taking a look at the damage following this weekend's storms. Here are some of the worst hit areas. We're looking at entire highways turned into rivers, along with flooded out yards for some folks. This right here is Bayfield, where Highway 2 outside Ashland is washed out, and folks who live along it have to wade through their yards. Lots of damage to private property, public parks, and everything in between. Officials are reminding folks, do not drive through flooded or washed out roads this morning. Instead, take some extra time to find a detour.
Leah, thank you. You might want to avoid any vegetables at a quick trip as multiple agencies are looking into reports of microscopic parasite that is linked to the veggie trays at that gas station. Specifically, they're concerned about Del Monte 6, 12, and 20-ounce trays with broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, and dill dip. Those have now been linked to 78 confirmed cases of the parasite in Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Indiana.
Bicyclists and joggers on Madison's south side might have to find a different route for the rest of the month. The bike path on West Winger Drive between Fish Hatchery Road and South Park Street is going to be closed until the end of the month, while crews replace that pedestrian bridge over Winger Creek. This is right by Wright Middle School. That work, though, should not affect any cars in the area.
And I've been tracking showers and thunderstorms across parts of Wisconsin this morning. These will gradually work their way to the south as we get you into the afternoon and evening. Until then, it is the sizzle. We'll feel like we're in the low to mid 90s this afternoon.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. Starting today, Madison kids and parents can get free meals at a number of parks and schools in our area. This is the program run by the city's school district and the REAP Food Group. The program runs through August 10th. You can go to mmsd.org/food or text the word food to 877-877 to find the closest location for these meals.
It is the last week for Madison residents to compost their food scraps. The city announced last week it was ending its program after 7 years because people were putting too many non-compostable items in their carts, and the city couldn't afford its own biodigester. Roughly 1,100 households participate in that program. After the final collection this week, the Streets Division will circle back to collect those compost carts.
State consumer experts are reminding us to be wary of public Wi-Fi networks while we're on vacation. Now, identity thieves often set up fake hotspots to steal personal information. Consumer experts are also recommending that you review the privacy policies for apps on your phone or tablet and delete any apps that you no longer use.
There's a new list out ranking the best colleges and universities around the country to land a job and keep one for graduation after 10 years. In Wisconsin, UW-Platteville ranked #1 on that list. It's done by the career guidance site Zippia. It made that list based on job placement ratings, specifically looking at employment levels of graduates 10 years after they earn their degrees.
6:56 right now. Let's get one more look at First Alert traffic with Josh Tim this morning. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Yeah, the westbound side of the Beltline continuing to pick up between Stoughton Road and West Broadway, but so far no major delays showing up. Inbound John Nolan, you're getting busier between Rimrock and Olin Avenue. That's going to add a few minutes toward the downtown Madison area. And northbound Verona Road beginning to slow down approaching the Beltline, but other main roads routes, including on the interstate, are cruising along at the usual speeds right now with no major crashes or delays. With your First Alert Traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thanks, Josh. Stay cool.
Thank you.
And we continue to track the heat and humidity going into your day. Do expect temperatures to warm up into the mid and upper 80s this afternoon. Shower and thunderstorm chances will come, especially as we get you towards 4 o'clock and towards the dinner rush hours there. So if you're going to be headed home this morning, you may have some rain on your afternoon drive time. But until then, it is the heat and the humidity.
All right, thank you, Chris. We're hoping to have an update from Portage. Dive teams hoping to get back in the water once that rain clears to look for a missing teenager. The latest on channel3000.com.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.